a wife, but let me tell you something. Being a wife is making sure you have the soap powder. The wife is making sure you might throw those clothes in the washing machine. Being a wife is not coming to pick up your drawers after you. That is not.
Who said you had to pick up the drawers? Y'all want to go. This is my point here with that. We always act like that's such a big thing. Like, especially for the women. Wait a minute. Especially for the women that got kids. Y'all should be cleaning the house anyway. Y'all should be cooking anyway. So you cook.
Great catch. I'm a great wife. I'm a great this. And it's like that hasn't been validated.
All these single girls of yours too. I don't know.
The one thing that I'm seeing is that when you're dealing with a grown ass man,
there it is.
He has a vision and a purpose for his life.
Facts.
What he wants in the future. And what I see is that a lot of these modern women don't want to fall into and play their part in that purpose and in that vision because they have their own purpose and their own vision. I think where a lot of women get it confused. Not your responsibility to motivate a man.
Right.
A man should have his own motivation, his own direction. Your job is to inspire. It's a complete difference. I think a lot of ladies get a man.
What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Kandid Konvos. I'm your host, Quay Price. We got Chloe on deck. Say what's up to the people, Chloe.
Hey, everybody. Happy Wednesday.
Shout out to that Happy Wednesday, man. Happy Wednesday. I guess they still call it Hump Day, don't they? That's still in play, right?
Last I checked.
Okay, well, we'll take it. Let's say Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Let's say shout out to everybody joining us tonight. Let's say if you're joining us tonight, drop a comment. Let us know where you're representing from. Any of my people over on YouTube as well, drop a comment as well. Let's say we appreciate everybody supporting the platform, rocking with what we do, rocking with us during this movement as we try to move our people forward through these great conversations. All right. So let me do this real quick while I am thinking about it. Okay, so here's the link right here to join us on the panel. You can drop this in your Google Chrome, your Microsoft Edge. If you're coming in through an Apple device, you have to use Safari on your Apple device. But let's say this link allows you to join us on the panel. You do have the ability to cut your camera off if you choose, but we always encourage you to keep your camera on for a better show, better engagement. Plus, let's just save yourself a little bit of that typing. You can just say what you want to say, get it off your chest, make it easy on you. We also have this link in all of the chat feeds as well, so you can catch it at the Kandid Konvos page on Facebook or YouTube, or you can shoot me a message on Facebook if you're a Facebooker, and I'll send it straight to you. Or you can drop a comment, and we'll get it to you that way as well. So we'll leave this up here for a little bit as we get into the show. All right, so let's see what we got. Yeah, I'm not sure if Vince is hopping up. We'll see. I don't know. You want to get right into this?
Let's go.
Okay. All right, everybody watch right now. See, we got some viewers checked in already. Do me a favor and hit that like button for us. Hit that like button. Likes are free. So if you're watching this right now, hit that like button. Hit that like button for us, please. Also hit that share if you will. So we want to get this conversation out to as many of our people as possible. Shout out to Kenyatta Myrick's in the building. She said, happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday to you, Kenyatta. Got Donovan in the building. He said, hey, y'all, happy Wednesday. Got a lot of happy Wednesdays in here today. Shout out to you as well, brother. All right. So we're gonna go and get right on into this. So, topic for tonight. Drop this down. Topic for tonight. We are not enemies. We run that back. Topic for tonight. We are not enemies. Shout out to my guy Vince in the building. He said, hey, y'all, listen, it might be able to jump on later. No doubt, man. No doubt. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you hopping on. All right. So we got a couple videos for context. So let's get into it. We are not enemies.
Are winning. Why do you think that is?
Oh, you're not gonna like my answer. One thing that they did during slavery is that they made sure to.
Hold on one second. What's going on?
It doesn't start at the beginning. It's not starting at the beginning of the clip, so it's hard to hear what she's saying in the beginning of the clip.
Oh, okay. At the very beginning, she's saying entrepreneurs are winning. Female entrepreneurs are winning. So that was her first wording.
And entrepreneurs are winning. Why do you think that is?
Oh, you're not gonna like my answer. One thing that they did during slavery is that they made sure to emasculate the man, right? And then make the woman powerful. And the reason why they made the woman powerful is because primary caretakers of the babies. And we're gonna do everything that we can to make sure our babies live. Things are put in place so Black women can feel like they don't need a man.
So you think it's designed to
Absolutely.
Separate and conquer?
You can tell when there's not a father in the household. The kids carry themselves a different way. And you can see that they're lacking something, especially the boys. This narrative about being this independent Black woman, because you never hear another race say that. We need to get rid of that narrative. It shouldn't be one person over the other. You should be working together to build.
That's really the reason why we're doing so well.
Yes.
They're promoting it. And I think word is more palatable.
Right.
You know, Black men, they're more their competition.
They are, and they are not afraid to speak their mind. So all of the grants, all of this stuff for Black women this, Black women that. But what about the men?
Okay, topic for tonight. We are not enemies. Okay, so shout out to the young ladies for the video. I know the young lady that was doing majority of the speaking. I guess she is a successful, I think it is skincare. I think she deals in
hair care.
Oh, sorry, hair care. Yeah, so I know she's successful in hair care. So she's one of those winning entrepreneur or winning female entrepreneurs that she was speaking about. But she just touched on a couple things. She touched on the fact that, Black women are promoted in that space. She touched on emasculation of Black men. She touched on divide and conquer. She touched on the children missing out or lacking the presence of fathers in the home and how it affects the children. So she touched a few things. Man, I don't know. Drop a comment. Anybody down watching in the comments, drop a comment. Let me know what you thought about what she said. I got a couple thoughts. I don't know, Chloe, anything coming to mind with you at all from that video?
Well, I mean, I'm glad that it's being said, on a public platform and a pretty large platform. I got a chance to watch a larger clip of that particular piece of the conversation. And you're right, she is pretty successful Black female entrepreneur herself. But the interesting part is in that clip, the longer clip, she mentioned her husband being with her in meetings. And him speaking up, and how she notices that he's has the ability to speak up more so than she does. And how she says it's important. We need you guys as voices. We need you to play that role and be, the front line. And I think that that's important to understand. I have been saying this for a little while now, that there is a vested interest that society has in propping up the Black woman so much that she almost feels like, what can the Black man do for me? There is not another community that I can think of at the moment where their women are elevated so far above them that the women begin to believe they don't need them. That literally is what's happening in our community, and we are allowing it. My problem is, as women, we're allowing it. I don't understand why we can't feel like we're successful. That's awesome. Let's grab our men and let's be strong together. Let's unify. Let's build each other up. Men don't do that. Men don't get super successful and then say, I don't need a woman.
Never.
Men don't do that, regardless of how successful they get. They still want a woman around. Most of them really successful, they want a wife. So I just think it's interesting how as women, it's the reverse, right? We get super successful and we just get really independent. And I think that, that says a lot. It says a lot, and it works in their favor, right? Because with Black men and Black women working together, we are so much more successful and so much stronger as a unit. So imagine propping women up to where they're not saying, I don't need a man. And now women alone are vulnerable. They're weaker. And they're going to continue to be consumers and consume because most of the things that they need, they don't have at home. And they have no way to get them on their own. Right. So they're always going to have to be calling somebody, ordering something, doing something. And if you watch that whole interview and further into that clip, she talks about how tiring it is. The whole independent mindset is exhausting because we're literally not supposed to be doing it on our own. Just because we can doesn't mean we should. Right. Why would you want to? And I just think that, pay attention to that, ladies. Why is it so easy for Black women to get grants and get loans and open businesses and, get properties? And why is it so much easier for us to climb the corporate ladder than our men? Is it because we're so much smarter than them? Come on, ladies, be for real. Be for real. We can't think it's because we're just so much smarter. I think we have to be honest and take a look at what's really happening and then adjust our mindset, because all it's doing is literally, tearing down the community from the inside out. And this is exactly how they want it to be. She gave the example of slavery and how they're basically using the same formula. They're just applying it differently. It was always about emasculating the man and using the woman to do it. And they're still doing it today, emasculating Black men and using the woman to do it. And the bad part about it is, here we are, ladies, continuing to play right along.
Right. No, that's real. That's real right there. Yeah, I wanted to say this, let's say, because, the young lady made some good points. The first point that I would make is, I wonder, do we even realize that this is happening? Yep, and what I mean by that is a lot of the stuff that we see today. I know we convince ourselves it's because of hard work, but I wanted to we realize that there's stuff going on in the background. Yeah, when a young lady talked about these grants and all of these types of things, you know, anybody who's paying attention to anything, you see the difference. Yeah, you see where a lot of the grants are concentrated at. We see that. Yeah, but if anybody is paying attention to what we see in a lot of these corporate situations, we see what type of positions certain type of people get put in based on genders and skin colors and all of these types of things, you know, and I'm speaking in particular to Black folks. But we see these things, we see these differences. Yeah, we see what the leadership pools look like now. We see the shift that is going on. And I wonder sometimes, are we still out here just acting like we don't see this stuff and we think it's just happening because we're working hard? Yeah, sometimes I wonder, do we think some of this stuff is happening because we just all so smart? Yeah, but I would think by this point, folks would know better. Yeah, I'm sure we've all seen instances of somebody who's gotten placed into a position and everybody know they ain't earned that position. Yeah, so going back to my original question, do we even understand that this is happening? That this is happening to us? Yeah, we're at a point now where, you know, our ladies are saying that they don't need us because they are achieving certain levels of success financially and materially and all of these things, however you want to put it. But they're achieving a certain level of success. But then that equates to or turns into, I no longer need my man or my companion. Yep, I really wonder, do we understand that we getting played? Yeah, while we sit here and we go at each other daily, social media fights daily, cussing each other out, bashing each other, bullying each other, trying to tell the other what they supposed to be like. I mean, I know y'all see the same stuff I see. I know y'all see the battles. Do we realize behind all of that, we getting played? Yeah, but sometimes I don't think we do. Yep, Chloe made a good point. Yeah, when fellas get to a certain level of success, they ain't bailing on ladies. Let me just keep it a buck. Yeah, fellas don't do that. Yeah, but we don't see the same thing across the board. And that's why I say I think people are getting played and they have no idea that they're getting played. Yeah, this old lady also mentioned a point or made a point about competition. Yeah, once again, Black men and Black women, we are not each other's competition. Yeah, if anything, we're supposed to be teammates. Or as the ladies like to say, we're supposed to be partners. We're not competition. Yeah, because at the end of the day, we're not equal. But what we do contribute to each other is balance. We balance each other. If the ladies possess strengths that the men do not, the men possess strengths that the ladies do not. We balance each other. Yeah, we're not meant to compete with each other. I'm not sure where that started. Yep, I'm not sure where that started. But once again, we got to understand we're getting played. Let me get some of these comments real quick. My guy Donovan said, most folks in the workforce have been misled to believe that a job, career, or a business is a flex. No, it's all slave labor. We trade time for money. Pushing the man out of the home, removing his covering. pulling the mother out of the home, removing the nurturing, leaves the children lost and trauma-filled. We all need to wake up. Facts. Definitely facts. Appreciate that comment. Donovan also said our government set this crap in motion way back when granddad was the sole breadwinner. Facts. Shout out to Eva Wright. She said, hey, troublemakers, laugh my butt off. What's going on with you, Eva? Appreciate you joining us tonight. You want to say something, Chloe? It came off mute.
No, I was saying hi. Go ahead. Keep going.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I just really wonder, do we understand that we're getting played? Yeah, but I don't think we do. Yeah, but I do want to do this. I do want to shout out the young lady in the video. For her to be a successful Black woman and sit down and have that conversation and contribute those points, I commend her for that. Yep, a lot of ladies won't do that. Yeah, but what I mean by that is she has to take herself to an uncomfortable place, because having that conversation, she even has to look at herself to understand, did she benefit from how we are getting played today?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so shout out to her for that. Yeah, shout out to her. That takes a lot to do that. Let me get some more comments. Let's see. Kenyatta said, exactly. If I hear one more woman say she does not need a man because she does not, let me see. If I hear one more woman say she does not need a man because she does not need him, or she needs to date outside her race, I'm going to scream. No, that's facts. Yeah, like I said, and I think the piece is it gets so crazy, and that's why, you know, the show is called We Are Not Enemies. It gets so crazy today where, you know, I see a lot of videos, a lot of conversations, and you know, some of the ladies, like, they trying to force that down your throat. Like, they want you to know that they at a certain level and they don't need you. Like, it's a whole agenda. Like, they're gonna force it down your throat. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't see guys doing that. Yep, I don't see guys doing that. Yeah, what I do see is when a lot of these guys, when they do achieve a level of success, you know, to Chloe's point earlier, they're trying to pull a young lady in. Yep, they're trying to group up with somebody. They're trying to team up with somebody once they get to that point. But yeah, it's just some ugly stuff we're dealing with. You want to say something, Chloe? You good?
Yeah, no, I was also gonna point out that I guess another thing that I think I feel like I almost missed it, like I almost lost it. But another thing I think we need to pay attention to is not, we hear a lot of women say, I'm sorry, you guys, I had to bring that thought back. We hear a lot of women at times will say, men struggle handling me, or I struggle in relationships because men are intimidated by me, or they're intimidated by my success, or I need to find a man that's on my level because, you know, men tend to have a problem with the fact that I make more money, or they tend to have a problem that I'm really successful. And I need women to really think about what you're saying, right? You're saying, you're trying to convince us that a man has a problem with you being successful. Like, you being successful isn't going to benefit the family. Like, you being successful is going to benefit the family. So why would this man have a problem with you being successful? I mean, let's think about that. Is it that he has a problem with the fact that you're successful? Or does he have a problem with your mindset now that you've achieved success? Because what I see is that a lot of women, when they do become successful, they make a name for themselves. You know, financially, they're stable. Financially, they're doing well. Maybe they're a high earner, right? Is they take on this mindset. And it's very much that I don't need you, or anybody else mindset. It's very much, well, I can do better by myself, or I'm doing this and I'm doing that. What you bring into what you got? What are you doing? I mean, I've heard women say literally things like, well, I drive a Mercedes, so you got to at least be able to drive what I'm driving or better. And it's like, why does that even matter? If that's your mindset, no man is going to want to be bothered with you, even if he does earn more than you. Because that's a toxic mindset. And we're always talking about toxic men. But, I mean, do we ever talk about toxic women? That's a toxic mindset. And no man is going to want to deal with that, regardless of how fine you are and how much money you make. So it's not the fact that you're successful. They cool with that. It's your nasty attitude, your rotten attitude and disposition, because you are valuing yourself based off of your earning potential, or you're valuing yourself based off of this perceived success that you have. And it just points to the bad priorities, because we should not be prioritizing material success over the success of our actual lives.
Facts.
Because at the end of your existence, you know, when you have to think about your life right before your life goes away and your light goes out, is it going to be, oh, I had the nicest cars. Oh, I had the fanciest house. Oh, I used to always wear all the brands. That stuff isn't going to matter. But if you're alone, if you don't have a family, if you don't have a legacy, if you don't have the things that really matter, then what really matters? And I think that's the problem. When men get success, that's what they start to think of, their legacy. They start to think about, what am I leaving? They start to think about their impact on society, their impact on the people around them. They start to think about those things because they understand, okay, now I got the success, but I need to make sure all of this is tight. I need to make sure my life is together, though. I got the success. That's cool. That's great. But this is why when men get successful, the next thing they look for typically is a wife, if they don't already have one.
Right.
Because now they know it's time for them to really build their life. And I think as women, we just got it backwards. And it's out of order. And then we want to know why we can't keep a relationship. You know, girl got it going on. You might have too much going on, sis.
Right. That's real. Let me get some more of these comments real quick. Let's see. Donovan said, man was not designed to adapt to a woman. A woman was created to complement a man whom she chooses. Okay, that's valid right there. Eva Wright said exactly. You can't take those things to your grave. No, that's facts. That's facts. See, Donovan said, let's see, Chloe, a woman who drives the Mercedes will get a Pookie because he puts it down when the lights go out. Pookie will be driving a Mercedes real soon too, dropping her off to work every day. LOL.
I mean, there's truth to it, but there's truth to it. Like but see, that's the thing. They'll let Pookie knock it down, but then when it's time for them to entertain their so-called person, then they got this laundry list of things that he has to have, right? Before they'll even entertain him. He has to have this laundry list of things. That's why they can only get Pookie, because the dude that's really about that life, he ain't about to mess around with that. He don't have time for that. He's not going to deal with that attitude. That's why they got Pookie, because Pookie is the only one that's going to tolerate that foolishness.
Right. No, that's real. So I got a question. See, we got some ladies down in the comments. I see YouTube and Facebook in the building. So I got a real question. Does it make, and y'all drop a comment, let me know. Does it make women feel less than to say that they need a man? Like real talk. Yeah, real talk. Yeah, do ladies feel less than or inadequate in some way, shape, or form if they say or if they vocalize that they need a man? I'm just curious. Somebody drop a comment, let me know. Maybe y'all know something I don't know. I'm trying to understand what this is.
Oh, there could be something to that. I also think it's a matter of pride. You know, we talk about men and pride, which, you know, you guys do operate, you know, from pride and from ego. But what I also see is women can be very prideful. Like women can be very proud. And I think that, I think they think it's a flex to be able to say, I don't need a man. Like they think it's a flex. So I think it's a little bit of that too. Like I think that it's the pride, and I do think they think it's a flex. You know, I got this going for me, I got that going for me. I don't really need a man. I just kind of want one. You know, it just makes them seem so above it all. And men are just something that they use to entertain themselves. So at least from the outside looking in, that's what I see.
Okay, I was just curious. Let me go to Vince. Vince, you want to say something real quick, man?
Hey, y'all, I had to jump on here. I'm at home working.
I got you.
I said, well, can I jump on right quick, Remy? She said, go ahead.
What's up, man? What you want to say, man?
Actually, this is a very good topic. Then I also think that we also have to take into account that a lot of these female quote unquote entrepreneurs and quote unquote business owners are doing it in the industry that has the potential to make a lot of money, that doesn't have a lot of training behind it.
Okay.
Your brother Kevin Samuels brought this out. Most of the ladies who said they're entrepreneurs are in the hair care industry, which you do have to go to school for hair care. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying it's a lot of money that can be made. The hair care industry. They're cosmetologists, a lot of real estate agents, a lot of things in sales that women are good at, which men, a barber will never make as much as somebody that can do a quick weave.
No.
And I think that the problem is also because we come from a generation of men that have not had their fathers in there, we don't have the same side hustle. Like, for instance, when I was growing up, I did have my grandfather, and he did a lot of stuff. He changed tires and changed brakes and to fix cars. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to be cool and hang out with the girls. So I didn't learn them side. And a lot of me in my generation and under didn't learn those side hustles to make good money, like fixing cars. I don't know nothing about a car, but to take it to the dealership. You know, my grandfather could hear something in the car and be like, oh, that's the oh, that's the alternator. And you know how much money is in being a mechanic, being a painter? I mean, just side stuff that men used to can do and make money. Now we can't do that. So a lot of these ladies, I'm not gonna call it cap, but you have to understand a lot of, I don't think that being an entrepreneur is the same as being a business owner. Like people be an entrepreneur. No, I'm not an business owner. It's different. I'm not a one-man show. I don't work. I'm not an agent, agent, and then I call myself being just because I'm a real estate agent. That's not. So I think a lot of times there's an inflated value to yourself. So that's just my opinion. I said I had to hop on and say that because I understand where the ladies are coming from, but a lot of stuff that they do are in sales. Most women, well, I'm an entrepreneur. What you do? I own a boutique. I sell bundles. I sell candles. I do Mary Kay. I do hair. You might get a healthcare in there thrown in. I got maybe a staffing agency, which is hard. But most of the time, it's something involved of you're surrounded with women beauty products. And men don't have that. A barber can't get $300 for a haircut.
No. Okay. No,
a
that's
barber
a valid.
Can't get, he can't sell cologne. God is an entrepreneur.
Right. No, that's real. I just want to let you know. I think it's breaking up a little bit, but yeah, you okay right now though, Vince. I just want to let you know, man. But yeah, no, those are valid points. Those are valid points. And I mean, I guess, and we do have to factor in, we are in a slightly different time. I guess, and what I mean by that is there's so many other avenues that have been created to generate wealth or generate money in this current way of life that we're in now. But I also feel like a lot of that stuff is temporary too, but that's a whole nother topic. Let me get some of these comments, then I'm gonna flip us up real quick. Let's see. Kenyatta said for very successful women, yes. Okay, so that was to my question. Do the ladies feel inadequate, or is there some issue with vocalizing that they need a man? Okay, no, I can see that, Kenyatta. See, Donovan said, let's see, that weakens that strong independent narrative. Bull crap. Okay, so I can see that as well. That goes against the initiative. It goes against the agenda. Let's see. Kenyatta said they feel like they have worked to the point where men have become peons in their world. So that's a good point right here, Kenyatta. A good point. They feel like they have worked to the point where men have become peons in their world. See, that's the problem. Yeah, so why is it that you look at it as your achievements somehow make me less than?
Right.
And see, that's a disconnect, or that's a divide point right there. Guys don't look at that like that. Just because I go, accumulate $1 million, I don't then start, looking at the ladies around me like they need to step it up. That ain't got nothing to do with them. So why would I frown upon the person that was naturally created to be with me? Why would I frown upon her because I'm gaining some success? Yeah, so this is a good point, Kenyatta. But that right there just reveals to me a very skewed mindset. That has nothing to do with that other person. So for you to try to essentially hold that over that person's head, like somehow they inadequate, yeah, that's crazy right there. That's crazy. Do you want to say something, Chloe? You good?
I was just gonna say, like, to piggyback on what you said and what Vince said about the types of businesses that women have. And this is not downplaying anybody's hard work. Look, I'm not downplaying anybody's work, anybody's investments or business ventures. I'm not downplaying it at all. But I will say this. He is right that as women, we do tend to open up businesses that are very customer service based, retail focused, some type of sales product focus, whether it's hair care or whether it's makeup or lashes or the doing of lashes, the doing of makeup. It's always something of that nature. Here's the thing. As women in this society at this particular time in the world, we care about this stuff a lot. So it's a lot of money being made in the beauty industry. So we know how big this industry is. But I will say this, when things get tough, when things get tight, these are also some of the first industries that take a hit. Because when people can't eat, they're not caring as much about how their hair looks, or their lash extensions, or getting their brows tinted. So like, it's a money grab. Make it now. Make as much as you can. But just know that the jobs that some of these women are looking down upon that men have, like working in heating and cooling, or being a mechanic, or working in manufacturing, or in construction, or anything like that, where maybe they're not always, although you can make really good money in these positions, in these types of careers, but it depends on the type of position that you hold, right? They're not always making six figures in these types of positions, but these are the types of industries that will always be needed. Always. There's always going to be a need. And because people are looking in other industries, the more temporary, fast-paced, quick turnaround money jobs, those industries that are staple industries really need people. Like they are really looking for more, engineers and construction workers and people to work in heat and cooling and HVAC and things like that. Like those positions are really sought after right now. And so I think that says something. Like ladies, when the rubber hits the road and, nobody cares as much about their lace extensions or their lace fronts, what are you going to do? Where's your help? Where's your covering? Where's that partner that you guys can work together and pull through and make things happen together? Are you going to need him then? And so I just go, as ladies, please understand the position that you're putting yourself in is, it's a catch-22. Because while society wants you to build yourself up and be super independent and not need a man, they also know that makes you among some of the most vulnerable. Because when it really go down, you have no help, you have no covering.
Yeah, no, that's real. That's real right there. Let me get some of these comments, then I'm gonna switch us up. See, Donovan said, let's see, Vince, we know the real builders are the men doing the dangerous labor field occupations. Ain't no woman building no Gordie Howe expansion bridge to Canada. Yeah. Yeah, no, we do have to acknowledge that. Yep, a lot of the things, I'm gonna just say that a lot of the things that we disregard because they're a part of our normal functioning lives. Yeah, there's a lot of fellas holding that stuff down. Yeah, we got a chance to see that during the pandemic. We got a chance to see that. Yeah, so we can't just overlook or just disregard or just reject those quote unquote average men who keep everything running. Yeah, the dudes who keep the lights on, the dudes who keep the gas stations full, the dudes who manufacture the cars, and the dudes who, out here building these roads in the wintertime. And to your point, Donovan, these guys out here welding this steel, making this bridge and all of this stuff. Like I said, we can't just disregard or downplay those positions. I say because those positions are vital to what we do. Yeah, we can't do that. See, Kenyatta said most of those businesses unfortunately will be temporary. Yeah, no, I feel that. I feel that right there. Let's see. Kenyatta said 2020 showed us this. No doubt. Yes, it did. See, Eva Wright said heating and cooling is bread. It costs thousands to replace an AC and furnace, thousands to get a driveway laid, even tree removal. Just saying. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, a lot of those quote unquote, or like we like to label them, average positions, those guys can generate a lot of capital. Yeah, we got to think about that. Quote unquote, I guess I call them skilled trades. That would fall into that space. So yeah, we really got to think about that thing. Yeah, these are the dudes that we are calling less than. We got to think about that. Let's see. Donovan also said, let's see, I hear the plea women make about money, and the man needs to come with the bag. My question is, what purpose is the bag for? Is the mandate for survival, or is it for fulfilling splurging desires? That's a good point too. It's a good point too, Donovan. Unless I know Vince is on here right now, but he's talked about that before. A lot of fellas understand that their money is for essentially the family. And then, like I said, in a lot of situations, the lady, her money is for her. So yeah, I guess to answer your question, that's probably why they want the man to come with the bag. Yeah, just to keep it real. All right, I'm gonna switch this up. I got another one. Video number two. Same topic. We are not enemies.
I'm going to be completely honest with y'all, okay? And I don't know if this was my own ignorance or what, but until like the past 5 years, I did not realize how many black men hate black women. And of course, this is a some, not all, and I'm not even going to say the majority, but It is a pretty significant number. And of course, as a mental health care provider, I know a lot of this stems from trauma, possibly with their mother or another female in the past, or maybe they had an emotionally incestuous relationship with their mother, and that's why they have these perspectives. But whatever the case may be, it is disturbing. It is a Black woman's fault that she is a single mom, even though it is the man who left. It is a Black woman's fault that she has to be independent, even though the men around her were not being supportive. And yes, of course, women have to take accountability for the people that they allow in their life and the decisions that they make. But at what point do we begin holding men accountable? At what point do we say, hey, men, do better?
As a Black man, all I hear is that Black men need to do better. Jeremy, why are you saying that? Because I understand from a woman perspective, all you hear is the woman. What women need to do. As a man, I hear what men need to do. But when I look at everything as a whole, she understands because she said a little bit of it. And she didn't say, oh man, so fellas, get out your feelings. But I hate when you talk, not her, but just people. When you gave the example of men leaving, like that's the main reason why women are single moms. It might, but men walking out is not the number one thing. You have women who trying to trap men into being with them. You got women who are trying to use a baby to change her life, meaning that she bored, she ready to have kids now, and her biggest thing in her life is to have children, not to be married or not to have no relationship with the man. She just want to have a child because she's getting up in age. So you got that working for you. You got women who have a man that pass away. That's one of them. You have men who get locked up. That's one of them. Y'all talk like single moms are only for men, come from men that's walking away, and it's not true. And most women are having children with the same guy. If the majority of men don't even have children, but a lot of women got children, who are y'all getting the children with? These men not stepping up. No, don't say men, it's the man. He got 7 baby mamas, one dude. But you want to say these men? No, it's that one guy. The one guy. A lot of men, what about the woman who have the child to use against the man? That's why I'm pregnant. I'm gonna have your baby. I'm gonna put you on child support. Ooh. See, if you're gonna talk about something, talk about all of it. Don't just, men, women gonna start holding men accountable. We've been holding men accountable. We've been doing it. I've been seeing, and I agree, the men that's walking out, you need to be held accountable. You gotta get, my brother, you can't just leave a child like that. Y'all gotta, boy, when we gonna.
Let me pause it right there. All right, man. We are not enemies. All right. So shout out to Jeremy for that video. Let's definitely check him out on Facebook as well as YouTube. He drops some good content, some good conversations. Let me say this real quick, because I had to put this to bed and I'm about to put it back to bed again. Once again, tonight we are talking. We are not each other's enemies, or we are not enemies. Let me say this, and I don't even want to have to bring this back up again, because the young lady said it in this video. Black women, Black men do not hate y'all. Yeah, let me say it one more time. Black women, Black men do not hate y'all. Yeah, this is why we're talking tonight about the fact that we are not enemies. Yeah, I'm not sure why we're trying to push this narrative. Yep, I am not sure why we are trying to push this narrative, but I'm going to say it again. It's tired. Yeah, we don't hate Black women. I'm going to be honest with you. That mess is an excuse. Yeah, we've never hated Black women. Yeah, a lot of us Black men are married to Black women. We got Black sisters, Black mamas, aunties, grandmas, great grandmas, Black co-workers, Black neighbors, you name it. Black female neighbors, all of that. Yeah, we don't hate black women. So I need y'all to let that go. Yeah, stop trying to make excuses because we have trouble communicating. Stop trying to make excuses because we can't sit down and have a mature, civilized conversation amongst the two of us. Yep, stop being upset because somebody is getting on a podcast, having a conversation, and is calling out your nonsense from the female perspective and the male perspective. Stop being triggered. Yeah, just because you triggered, or just because you getting called out and it's got you in your feelings, don't mean the black man hates you. Yeah, we got to cut this mess out. Yep, I've been seeing a lot of instances of this mess lately, and like I said, it's whack. Yep, it's whack. But I got some more points. I'm coming back with more. Y'all done got me a little hot. Do you want to say anything, Chloe, or you good right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, man, I'm really tired of the narratives. I'm just tired of the narratives, and I think that, I'll be honest, like my patience is low for it. Like I get to the point where I'm like, ladies, just say you're pissed off that men are now requiring more of you than they used to, and you don't want to meet the expectations. Just say that. Stop making it seem like it's somebody got something against you. Men have something against me. Another woman has something against me. It's always somebody has something against you because you don't want to take accountability for your own actions, your own poor choices, and your own behavior. I do not know where all these black men are that y'all talking about that hate y'all. I literally do not know. Because every time I come in contact with a black man, he is always doing something to help me out, protect me, or just being friendly. And honestly, these days, I see more black men just trying to mind their business than anything else. I do not know where y'all get this hate from. Just because a man opens up his mouth and says something you don't like, that's not hate. The reason why you are reading it and receiving it as hate is because you have never been corrected. And that's the problem. Black women, you have never been corrected because a lot of y'all didn't have y'all daddies to correct you. You grew up fighting your mother and going toe to toe with her and being disrespectful. And you never had anyone to put you in your place. And so then when a black man comes around and all he is trying to get you to do is just stay in your frame, and you read that as hate, you don't understand that that's actually love. Because anyone who loves you will correct you. Anyone who loves you will challenge you. Is that not the same thing you do for your children? Lovingly correct them? Nobody wants to be corrected, but it is what we all need. But y'all read that as hate. Just say, I want to do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it, and I don't want you to have nothing to say about it, because that's what it's giving. Instead, you take the very individual, the black man who was literally created to be your counterpart, your partner, your helper, your covering, and you say he hates you. It's crazy. Y'all keeping yourselves single. Because it's a man right now that would take you and love on you. All you have to do is change that rotten attitude. That's it. It's not easy, but you're standing in your own way. And I'm sick and tired of us blaming each other for our own stuff and projecting our feelings of insecurity, inferiority, and inadequacy and low confidence on each other. And then saying, this person, They hate us. I don't see it. It's a lie. I don't see it. Because when all I can think about when I go out into the world every day is how some black man has just maybe done even just something kind, held the door, spoke. I don't see this hate that y'all talking about. It's not there.
Yeah, no, I agree. Let me get some of these comments. Let's see. Donovan said, let's see, you can't put a boy in a man's role and expect him to perform as a mature, masculine hunter, gatherer, adult. No, that's true. That's true right there. Let's see. Kenyatta said 9 times out of 10, the man left the home because of the woman. Manipulation, smart ass mouth, bad attitudes. The list goes on and on. That's real right there. Let's see. Donovan said, let's see, I'm way past tired of all these Eves out here, tempted by the serpent of delusions. See, Donovan also said, Quay, the real black men hate these foolish ebony women. Okay, let's see. Kenyatta said, let's see, the real woman knows that black men don't hate us. Women just need to change their mindsets and understand men know their worth. You know, Kenyatta, you've been hitting them tonight. Yeah, you've been hitting them tonight. Sometimes I wonder if that's partially what we're seeing today. Yeah, we have a situation where a lot of men just went along with it. They just went along with what was given to them, what was offered, but they never had high expectations. But now we're seeing a change in some men. Some men are starting to now, based on some of these conversations, start to understand their worth, carry themselves a certain way, move differently, be more mature, be more serious about handling their business and their families and such. And I'm wondering, is that now conflicting with what how we're used to things going in the past? Yep, and if that's the case, that definitely makes sense. Yeah, because when you have somebody essentially who wakes up and says, you know what, I'm worth more than that. You know what, I'm actually desired out here. I went out and put in that work, got my business popping, got my education, got all my stuff together, got my own house, cars, you name it. I'm sought after. Yeah, if you have a situation where men start to understand that and they move accordingly, that's definitely going to cause conflict with how we're used to things going in the past. So that is a valid point. Let's see, you've been dropping them all night. Let's see. She also said black men are confused. They don't know if they should open the door, smile, be a gentleman, or just stay quiet. Yeah, now you're right on with that. I see them conversations all the time. So a lot of fellas, to be honest with you, from what I see, they just pulling back. Yeah, they're just pulling back and getting quiet. Let me get this last one. I'll come to you, Vince. Let's see. Eva Wright said exactly. What are they doing? Let's see. What are they doing to keep their man? Let's see. That man that's worth keeping, but you're too set in your ways and listening to those that don't have a man either. Yeah, we see that all the time. We come over to you, Vince. You want to say something, man?
Yeah, I don't know where she getting this thing from. When men have been held accountable for time immemorial. The Joe Browns, the man ups, the I don't want no scrubs, the what have you done for me lately? Ain't nothing going on but the rent. We have been told the truth from time immemorial. And I think the thing is too, and the reason why I get a lot of pushback, because I don't care what nobody think about me. I don't care what a woman think about me, because I got a wife. So once you tell them the truth, because the lies and the delusion is real, and it's to keep our sisters single and spending their money. They'll tell you can be 700 pounds and you still can win the Miss America pageant. They'll tell you can have as many kids as you and still get the Russell Wilson, quote unquote. But they don't do that for men. They tell you, hey bro, you broke. Hey bro, you short. Hey bro, you fat. Hey bro, you skinny. Hey bro, you ugly. And what we do, we take it and we try to do better. But with ladies, that I get more pushback when I tell ladies the obvious truth. You know why you can't find a man? Because you got them badass kids at the house that don't listen to you, and the man know they ain't gonna listen to him. That's why he's sneaky leaking you to death. That's why he coming through at 12 o'clock watching Netflix, because he don't want to deal with your kids. That's the truth. He don't want to deal with your attitude.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and it's hard because then you get the whole where, and because the men that they really want, I think the issue is that men who really got it going don't have no problems. It's the ladies, the ones can't find no man. The men that they think got themselves together don't have a problem. That's why they don't say nothing.
Right.
You know, not me, but men like myself. No problem. But they can go from 25 to 45 all day long. We don't have these problems of where these women ain't. They getting what they want because they've earned it. They put themselves in a position to get what they want. But the ladies feel like, oh, well, I have this and I have that. And I had a lady the other day. She gonna wait till she's 40-something years old talking about she want to get married and have some kids. I said, where they do that at? She said, well, Janet Jackson had a child at 50. You got kids at 50. I got kids, I'm 65. If I want to keep doing it. So, and then they pump out, I was just, and I know I spoke about this at the end of the last segment. Then they pump out these trauma bonding, horrible movies on Christmas. They gonna re-dig up Mister on Christmas. But you know what they putting out? The other people putting out? They putting out romantic comedies, love stories, Christmas family movies. National Lampoon's Christmas and but we got to pull out the color purple.
Yeah,
so the ladies can say, yeah. So the ladies can say, yeah, these men ain't doing it. They ain't doing that's right. And people don't understand that society and things in the media has an effect on our psyche and how we view things in life. That's why they don't put, just like I was saying the other day, when was the last time you seen a white man and his woman and that history? And that's it. That is, they're not going to let that mess come out. But we wear the color purple. And now I guess it's going to be an LGBTQ person in there because they got a nail and everything. And I'm not, people can do what they want to do. But I'm saying is, when are we going to require more? And they know it's a money grab. They all these, girl, I'm going with my mama and my daughters and grandmama and auntie. But what about your sons though? How you think your sons sitting there watching that movie and they see Mr. Smack and Celie all across the damn floor? All around. What do you think he's thinking about as a man? Think about your sons. So I don't know. It's too much delusion. It's too much lies, and they love it. They lie to me. And they put the worst, and they promote the worst of us. The rap culture.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, that's valid. But I think that's why I said I made that point earlier just to support that. And that's why I said I wonder, do we understand that this is happening? Yeah, the conditioning, the movies, the images, the stuff that we're pushed off social media. It's like we absorb these things. And this is, like I said, this is why we titled the conversation tonight, We Are Not Enemies. We absorb these things. Yep, and how it plays out is essentially it's us fighting all day. Yeah, we fighting each other literally on social media all day long. Yeah, you got, ladies, guys saying that, guys saying that they're not attracted to women with all of this artificial stuff. Then you have a lady come back and tell him, no, that's what y'all like. And he like, how you gonna tell me what I like? I'm the man. Like, you gonna tell me what I like? Then you got men, telling the ladies what they like. And the ladies like, no, that's not what we like. We like this. Then you got, women telling men, this is what a real man do. And it's like, well, how you gonna tell us what a real man do and you ain't never been a real man? Like, we sitting here arguing all day long, not understanding that we are getting fed a lot of this stuff. We getting conditioned. To Vince's point, it's these color purples and these movies that we get fed. It's these rap artists and all of this nonsense that we getting fed. Everybody twerking left and right. Like, we getting conditioned. And all it ever does is it leaves us, the black men, versus the black women. Yep, our ladies, they achieve some success. Now all of a sudden they looking down on the black men. It's like everything that happens, it just ends up with us fighting and arguing each other like we enemies, and we not. Yeah, we supposed to be teammates. Yeah, but I understand. I've tried to understand. Do we understand what's happening? Or will we rather just continue to argue and keep bucking and be single and lonely and void of covering and everything else? I mean, is that how we want to do it? But I don't know. Let me go down to Joe. Joe, I see you just hopped on, man. You there, man?
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. How you doing?
I'm doing. Your name, is it pronounced Qua?
Quay.
Quay. Okay.
Yep. Nice to meet you, man. Appreciate you coming on. Do you wanna say something,
man? Yeah, just to piggyback off what you just said, as well as Vince. That's when I jumped on this last 10 minutes. And understanding the topic that you're discussing, it's, I didn't know why this was the case. I remember when I was in grade school, the black girls wasn't like this at first, but it seems like there's something that takes place in between, say, maybe late high school to college years. Something happens where the separation occurs.
right.
And I didn't know what that was at the time, but as you get older, you start to realize, like, maybe this rap music has something to do with it. Maybe this entertainment that we're consuming has something to do. Maybe all these slave narratives, maybe these Tyler Perrys and things that we laugh at and we think it's okay because we're laughing at it, but we're also, like you said, conditioning ourselves and our mindsets to accept this kind of this abuse. It's not physical abuse. We can't physically feel it, so we don't associate that as abuse, but it's something that's like insidious. It buries into your mind, your consciousness, until you begin to, either as a woman, if you consume a lot of this content about men, such as this upcoming Color Purple movie on a Christmas day, you start to, if you're going to the movies to see that, you're going to be entertained. Oh, that's a good movie, but it's also something getting into you about, this is how black men are. This is how misters are. This is how black men really are. So that man may not have nothing to do with that movie that you saw, but that's the image that you carry along with you, and vice versa with men. You see a lot of the narratives, like such as Ice Spice or a Nicki Minaj, and we assume black women to be something like that. So it's this putting each other against each other that is honestly is brilliant. The way in which they did it is completely engineered. But when I think back to the entertainment we used to consume, the Jeffersons, the Cosbys, the music that we used to listen to, the Motowns, completely different environment. But you also look back at that time, we were together, we were unified. And a large part of that was because of the content that we put out. I think a lot of it started when Black exploitation films started to come onto the scene. That's when it kind of really started to pick up. It became profitable. And then that's what they began to push out into the market. And so now we have this situation where we are against each other. And not to say we shouldn't take responsibility for that, because we should. At some point, we have to step back and say, okay, I have to make a decision not to see my brother or my sister in this way. But it is difficult to break that cycle, especially when we grew up on a lot of this material that we consume in our music, in our media, and even our books. So to circle back, man, I find myself breaking from it personally, but I can't fix the perception that a Black woman has of me, which is automatically a negative one. And it's weird to me because when I'm around women of another kind of race, of a much lighter complexion, they don't see me as that way. They don't come to the table looking at me in that way. So immediately there's a respect that they have for me. There's no judgment. There's no fear that I typically get around Black women. So it's almost like you have to prove something to a Black woman. Prove to me you're not this person that is represented in the media that I've listened to in rap, that I've seen on a TV show or a movie, or read in these books or these novels. Prove to me you're not this way. Once you overcome that hurdle, then maybe we can start to build something from there. But as a man myself, I simply don't have that kind of time. So you ask a lot of Black men, naturally, we feel gravitated towards more foreign women, even white women. And this is the real reason why we go to them. Is not because we want to. It's like, I grew up around Black women. Of course, I want to be with the women that look like me, the ones I grew up with. But if they don't want to be with me, it doesn't serve me to fight against that, to jump over those hurdles, to try to get to that point where now we can start to build something from there. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents.
No, I appreciate that, man. No, that was spot on, man. And I appreciate you shedding some light on the piece about, Black men and or how some Black men view it when it comes to other races of women. I've been seeing that a lot lately too. I said, I know they've, tried to put a label on it of these passport bros, and I think that's how they try to title it now. But to be honest, I just think, some of the fellas, I'm just, it's just my perspective. I just think some of the fellas probably are getting frustrated. Yeah, because at the end of the day, I think a Black man's first desire is a Black woman, just being honest. To your point, Joe, that's who we grew up around. That's who we've had our experiences with. Ultimately, that's the person who can understand our plight.
That's the most, yeah.
Yeah, that's the person who's dealt with some of the same nonsense that we've dealt with growing up, right? So she can sympathize and empathize and understand kind of what we go through on a daily basis, just being a certain color in this world today, right? But I think we have a situation where, some of the gentlemen are getting frustrated, because I said they're being vocal now. They're talking about the things, that they have problem with, or the things that bother them. And they're also getting their act together. Yep. And when you're getting your act together and you're understanding your worth and your value and what you bring to a situation or a relationship, a marriage, what have you, you're looking for a young lady, essentially, who looks like you to come, join into that momentum or that program or what you got going on and build from there. Yep. And that's been the conflict.
To bring a woman into it because of the independent mindset and it's a very, man, I'm not trying, I have to be honest though, it's a very masculine, it's weird, man, because consistently, not all the time, but more often than not, when I'm around a Black woman, there's almost like I can feel like a power struggle between myself and a woman. It's like she wants to be in my position. It's almost like the word they use, I think, is like penis envy. It's penis envy, and it's not explicit. They don't say it, but it's like a tug of war. Okay, she's testing me strong to she's trying to be a leader. She's trying to be over me. Like, I'm twice your size. Like, I got a deeper voice. Like, I got balls. Like, why can't you just fall back? So it's a lot of that before you even get to the point where, okay, they become submissive, or if not, they do certain things that cause you to eject from the situation or a relationship. And it's difficult to put in. It's like they say it in their music, Beyonce, independent woman, bills, and things like this. You can't do this for me, then what are you good for? So it's that mindset that come with that, along with that desire to be masculine. I don't understand it, because as a man, it's like, you really don't. Why do you want to be in this role? Why do you want these responsibilities? Do you know how fucking difficult It is to go out here, bust your butt, and tackle the world and deal with the physical elements to bring home the bacon. And all you have to really do is just take care of it. But you want to be in my position, but you don't want the hardness that come with it. You want it's like the glory. You want the title of leader, the title of being masculine. But you don't want what comes with that, which is a lot of stress, a lot of depression. Some guys become suicidal because it can be so hard. We are uniquely designed to handle it because of testosterone. So I ask myself sometimes, like, why are you fighting me for this position that I naturally am at? And you want to try to get over ahead of me. You want to be the head instead of following me in my leadership. So that's the issue where even if you build something up, you go to them and say, hey, I got this, help me build this. It's more like, I want to build my own thing. I want to be the head. I want to be the leadership. And again, it's not explicit. They're not saying this with their words, with their mouth. It's just the actions, the attitude. And then you're just observing it. And it's like, I can't deal with this. That's the stress that comes with it. But then you go to a foreign woman, you go to a white woman, much more submissive. They fall in line real quick and they say, how can I help you achieve this X, Y, Z? And that just gets us every single time. Black women can do it too, but every time I've personally tried numerous times to fail. And I'm thinking, is something wrong with me? It just always ends up in that sort of power struggle. You're fighting for my role as a man, but I'm not looking to fight for your role as a woman. And believe me, as a man, I would love to sit down and just kind of relax and chill, get my hair done, get my nails done, my pedicures and manicures, and just cook and clean around the house. Like, not that that's not work. There's work involved in that because you have to be consistent, but you don't want to be out here building out these streets, doing landscaping, doing the type of stuff that a lot of men have to do, having things drop on your foot, like I had to do when I was moving material out of people's houses. Like, you really want this? No, you want the, oh, I'm a leader title. You don't want the responsibilities that come with it. Why do you want it? Why? And I ask them that sometimes, and they just like, oh yeah, yeah. And then they try to reel themselves back. So that tells me that it's an unconscious thing sometimes, that it's like a automatic mode. And do I really want to have to constantly push and prod and why are you doing this? Okay, let's work on this. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychologist. I just don't have the time to do it. I have to keep moving forward. And that's a lot of what the passport movement is about. Guys flying out to other countries is for that. People saying they're looking for sex. It's not that at all. They're looking for that woman who just naturally is who she is, the way that all girls are when they start off. Like I said, when I was in elementary school, grade school, summer high school, they're already like this. Black women they're cool. But it's something that happens around late stage of high school to college, something they learn, something they pick up, I don't know. But then that's when, boom, you see a schism. It's just widens, like it just widens. It gets bigger and bigger as the years go on. The separation gets there. You can feel it. It's palpable. It's very unsettling. So the way we deal with it, instead of trying to fix it, like a lot of people say, you should just fix it. Like, do we have time for that? Time is ticking. I got money to make. I got people to see. I got things to do. I got a mission to move forward and make a reality. I don't have time to fix something that is cultural. We don't. So what do? We have the option to go elsewhere, and not even necessarily outside the country, inside the country. We have foreign women here, white women here. So that's what they look at. They say, oh, you just want a white girl. No, we'd rather have you. We would much rather have you. You just want to be us so bad that we can't have who you are. That's it. But if more women understood that, I think we'd be on a much even playing field.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, man. Just to respond to what you were saying about something happens in that high school, college time, I think there's a different direction or a different teaching between the boys and the girls. And what I mean by that is typically young ladies are taught to go to college, get a degree, focus on your career. Young fellas are typically taught they're also taught go to college as well, but they also taught to work. Yeah, that's why typically guys will have jobs before women do in their teenage years. Because at the end of the day, the man plays the role of the provider. So he's always knows that he's got to work. You know, I know folks who was working at 14 years old, you know, paper routes, you name it. They started early. You know, a lot of the young ladies that I knew, they didn't get jobs until later, but they had cars before a lot of the fellas too, though. It's weird how that works. But it's different teaching, right? But then I think what we tend to see is, you know, when some of our women go off to college, they get stuck in this career loop. Yep. And what I mean by that is they want to climb this ladder, but then they don't circle back for the relationship piece of it. Yep. They don't circle back for the building with the man piece. Because essentially, ideally, if you want to, you know, take the college route, you can be sourcing your man in college. If we just want to take advantage of that scenario, right? So you can come out of there with your bachelor's and your husband if you do it right. But that's not typically the push. The push is to get your degree, focus on your career. So when you look at the timing on that, you're talking about from your early 20s going all the way through your 30s if you just want to go there. When you, especially when you loop in the focus on your career piece of it. So essentially that's ran through your whole prime time. Yeah, but see, that's part of the disconnect. See, a lot of the guys, they'll either go to school, come out, get a job, or they'll bypass school and go straight to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we see a lot of fellas in factories and doing skilled trades and such. They go straight to work because see, they know they got to be a provider. If college may not pan out, but a job is going to pan out because you can pay bills and provide for a family. So I think that's the difference in the teaching. But then what we will end up seeing is typically that guy, he has become an average man in this society.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's out here working a job. He's doing 9 times out of 10, it may be a labor job. So he's now considered average.
Garbage man.
So then you have a young lady, right? She now bachelor's degree, master's. Now she feels she is above that guy because she's more educated. Now we're just talking about degrees, but that's, you know, we see the conversations. That's how it's labeled. She's more educated than this man because he's just working a job. Yeah, but see, that's the difference. That's the conflict that we see. But like I said, that mindset is skewed because the other difference is typically that guy, he's not carrying all that school debt. He probably doesn't have blowing up credit cards. He probably hasn't been over leveraging. So he's in a different position and he's already ready to provide. He's already ready to start a family. He's already at that position already. He's probably already acquired a home by then. But then we want to look down on that guy because he didn't go down the same path. He don't have the same credentials. Like that matters. So I think that's part of the disconnect. And I think that's when it kind of starts, where we start looking at each other or where we see the situations where a young lady looking at herself higher than that man. Yep, right in that divide where he goes down his provider route and she goes down her educational career route. Now that's where you got the disconnect. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents. Just my 2 cents. You want to say something, Vince? I saw you come back on, man.
Yeah. I think the brothers is making some very valid points. And also I want to piggyback off of the racial aspect of it. And I thought that too, but I think it's not just the black and white issue, it's a cultural issue. Because as I said before, a lot of women that I've dated, which is a lot of women, it's only been 5 that had both of their parents in the home. I'm talking about out of hundreds of women. And it's a difference between a woman that's had her father in the home and a mother in the home and how she treats her man. And I got a piece of that when I told you, one time my best friend, he was dating a Caucasian lady, and we went up to Lansing, and she cooked us breakfast and sat my towel out, and she was very nurturing. That's a lot of it is the nurturing aspect.
Oh yeah.
But when I went around her family, now they were from Fowlerville. If you're from Michigan, that's a little town outside of East Lansing.
Yeah.
So her parents lived in the country. She was the youngest of 6 or 7. All her sisters and brothers were married. They were very traditional. So she was traditional. But then when I met my wife's parents have been married for 40 years. Her parents are very traditional. She's very traditional. So I think more so with the black and white is a cultural aspect of that, because we have our mothers a lot of times who were very nurturing to the boys and very hard on the ladies. But we didn't get that balance of the nurturing and the discipline, I would say.
Yeah.
So a lot of time our ladies have not been taught how to nurture a man. All really been taught is how to have sex, and that's natural. So if you haven't been taught and really shown that, it's not a thing. Just like I told you, I had an issue with my mother. My mother, who loved me more than anything else. I don't know if I've told this before, that my teenage daughter was fixing my plate, one time, and my mother told her, "Don't be making no man's."
Mm-hmm.
And I had to check my mom. I said, "What you mean don't be making no plate?" I said, if she should make anybody's plate, it should be my plate because I'm her father."
Mm-hmm.
And my mother pulled me to. I'm sorry, but I just don't want her to make the wrong decisions, and because my mother was single. I just don't want her to make the wrong decision. I said, well, that's why I'm teaching her who to make a plate for. You're right, baby. I'm sorry. I just did. And I understood that because we want our daughters to be self-sufficient. I'm not going to say so. I'm going to say self-sufficient and make good decisions when it comes to men. But then it's a fear thing. Just like the whole situation of, I hear so many women now, and I think this is really a non-conversation, that we have about this, this whole housewife thing. Only 7% of women can be housewives for the entirety of their marriage. So I don't even know why we even talk about that. Most people work. Now, it might be a time where the woman doesn't work when the kids are small, but there's a very small percentage of women that can, quote unquote, stay at home, not do no work the life of their marriage.
Mm-hmm.
But you hear so many, well, you can't depend on no man. You always have to know something. And that's a fear-based thing. And what we need to be teaching is how to properly vet. So you can put that trust. And then I often always say, well, first of all, we got to start with putting some trust in some husbands and not some baby daddies, first of all. Because, yeah, you shouldn't be putting no trust in your baby daddy. Because he has no legal right, no legal responsibilities. So, I mean, I understand what Joe is, and we do have to have some great understanding, man. I'm not taking no garbage either. You're going to treat me how I want to be treated. If you can't, then I got to move on to somebody who can. I'm with you, brother.
No choice. And a lot of us tried. A lot of us tried for years. And then it's like, okay, something that it's like the straw that breaks the camel's back. You become indifferent. It's not people, they hate us. No, you just don't care no more. You don't care because you realize these other women, they come and it's like, oh, I didn't know it could be like this. Like you had that experience with the wife. When you talked about that, it brought back memories of you start to compare and contrast. It's like, dang, so this is how it's supposed to be. So for so long, you didn't know because you've been treated a certain way by women who look like you. And you're thinking, oh, I guess this is just the way women are. And then you get the total opposite in terms of culture, in terms of skin color, in terms of hair, in terms of everything is opposite. And it's like, whoa. And then you go back. Sometimes you go back to say, okay, I like that. And you look for it in a woman that you prefer in a way that you grew up with. And it's difficult to find that, if not impossible. And if she exists, they do exist. She is coveted after. She is chased after. There's dozens of others. So the competition for that one woman out of maybe 10 who have that character, like a Chloe, you're fighting for that. You're clawing for it. So you see men fight, they're fighting for. So it's like, okay, either I'm going to fight for this one woman. I can see the value in her. She's like the type of woman I like. Not has nothing to do with skin color or white girl, nothing. It's just the mindset, the attitude, the femininity. But she's one. She's one out of dozens who are not like her. And other men see her too. So they're all fighting for her. She has all these options. Okay. You switch things around in your favor, and you go in an environment where there's an abundance of those type of women, as opposed to a rarity of those type of women. You don't want to just be around one gem and everyone's trying to get that one gem. As a man, it only makes sense to put the cards in your favor, to flip it around and give yourself the ace of spades. And that's why they go outside the country, is to look for an abundance of those women. So you're not chasing after those particular ones. You're not wasting time chasing this one girl. She has all these other options. This great woman, but she's not going to necessarily pick you right away. She's going to wait longer in a lot of cases because she has a lot more suitors. So it only makes sense mentally. Like as a business person, like, well, I go where I can get the most bang for my buck, so to speak. And in terms of the variety and in terms of just the abundance of it, so I can get what I need quicker, as opposed to fighting for this rarity of a Black woman here that's around me. Because when I see it, it's like, oh wow, but then you find out she's married, or she's seeing somebody, or she's doing this, or she's not looking for nobody. So now you're on the endless search. It's like, why do all that? Why do that when you can just drop someplace in like a Brazil or wherever, Japan or Germany, and say, okay, and they come to you. Now you can get things going a lot quicker. It used to be that way here. 60s, 70s, my father used to speak about it. Yeah, when I grow up, when I was growing up, women was this way. I was like, and this was back in the 90s when he's telling me this. And you're thinking idealistically, this is how it's going to be when I become an adult. And then I become an adult, it's like, wait, what happened? It just got decade after decade, it got worse and worse. And the pickings become slimmer and slimmer. And it's like, whoa. So where else do I go? Got to go outside the country. Got to go into this weird, obscure town in whatever, Bentonville in Michigan. Got to go, you got to go searching like, where's Waldo? When you shouldn't have to do that as a man. It should just be around you. Okay. Wow. Okay. I'm going to pick her, as opposed to, well, you're thirsty for that. You're looking for that. And a lot of men were thirsty for that feminine energy, that love from women that look like us. We can't get it. So be it. We wash our hands and we go someplace else. We have no choice.
Yeah, no, those are definitely valid points, Joe. Definitely valid points. And I think that's why it's important that we continue to have these conversations. To your point, just based on stats alone, that's what it should look like over here on the Western side right now. Like you said, it's just ladies all around you. Stat wise, that's what it looks like. But I think what we're dealing with now is we have normalized a lot of behavior that is not supposed to be normal. Yep, and because we've done that,
what are some examples of that?
Well, so what I mean by that is the stuff that we see now, right? So it is not normal for a woman to frown upon a man, let's just say because he doesn't have a degree. Yeah, that happens right now. Yeah, we have situations where ladies are frowning upon men because they're not college educated. Now, never mind his character, and if he's a good dude and he take care of folks around him and take care of his mama and take care of his kids, he a grown man handling his business. Never mind that. The fact that he doesn't have a degree, he's somehow below her level. That's not normal. You have degrees that had nothing to do with us being in relationships, starting families, and having kids and taking care of kids together. Ain't got nothing to do with a degree. Yeah, we have situations today where we are saying that a man somehow is less than because he don't make $100,000 a year. That's not normal. Yep, that's never been normal. $100,000 never was normal. But see, we try to normalize these things like it's right, like it's okay. Yep, and see, that's where we go wrong. So now that's why we see some of the things that we see today. But this is why I said the conversations are even more important than ever. Because, see, somebody got to point this stuff out. Yep, if nobody speaks against this type of stuff, if nobody speaks against these type of skewed mindsets, we just absorb this stuff and make it normal. Yep, and that's where the problem comes in. Yep, as a black man in the United States, you shouldn't have to go to another country to find your wife. That's not normal. Yeah, you should be able to have wives all around you.
Yeah.
It should be wives at your job, wives living on your street, wives that you knew as young ladies in high school. Like, you should be able to have wives all around you. Yeah, but we've normalized so many things that are inaccurate and we've adapted them into our, absorbed them into our mindsets. And that's how we want to move today. And that's not how that's supposed to go. Yeah, we've normalized being individuals. And what I mean by that is we've normalized our minds, or normalized the fact that we don't want to cooperate and work together. Yeah, we done made that normal. That's not normal. Yeah, we should be able to sit down as black men and black women and have a conversation. We should be able to sit down and be mature and move towards a common goal. We should be working together. But we've normalized being separate. Yeah, we've normalized literally being in the house by ourselves, spending all our money up, struggling, talking about we exhausted, trying to do 9 jobs in the house when all you got to do is play your role and I play mine. Like, we've normalized this stuff. We've normalized being independent, talking about we don't need somebody. That ain't normal.
I can do bad all by myself, is what Tyler Perry said.
But exactly. But see, that's a part of that conditioning. That's not normal. Yeah, there's never been a point where a man didn't need a woman. Let's be honest about that thing. And this is same thing go for women. At some point, a woman always is going to need a man. But we try to normalize this stuff and we try to trick ourselves into thinking that going around talking about I don't need a man is normal. That ain't normal. And the reason I know it's not normal is because we got all type of alternatives that we'll do to make up for the fact that we don't have that man in place.
Oh, such as?
You about to make me go there. Even in some of these alternative situations, these alternative couples out here, you'll even see a situation where one will play a masculine role and one will play a feminine role.
Oh, yeah.
That's how you know it's not normal. But see, we normalize these things, we absorb them, and we make them a part of our everyday life. And what we don't realize is the whole time, like I said earlier, we just getting played. And this is what keeps us apart. This is what keeps us single. This is what keeps our homes broken. Yep, this is what keeps young lady and young men separating and us creating these single moms and all of this stuff that's going on that we see now. This is why that happens. So, man, I think we really got to sit back. Like I said, we got to continue to have the conversations and we got to get real about this thing and hold ourselves accountable. That's another thing. Yeah, we've normalized not holding ourselves accountable. We think that we can just be out here doing whatever we want to do, moving however we want to move, and don't think that there's no repercussions. And that's not how life works. That's not realistic. It's not realistic at all. So, yeah, the key is going to be these conversations. The key is going to be people that know better being vocal about the fact that this stuff is not right. Yep, they got to speak about it. They can't sit back and be quiet. Yep, that's also going to require the people that know better. They're going to have to be out here setting the example as well. Yeah, we're living in a time where everybody want to cancel somebody. Everybody want to suppress what you got to say. Yep, and at the end of the day, you still got to go out here and say what you got to say, because at the end of the day, we got to get it corrected. And we have to get back to what is right and what has always worked for us as a community. And that has always been us working together. You want to say something, Chloe? Then we're going to get ready to get up out of here.
Yeah, I think from a female standpoint, I think that the biggest thing or the biggest takeaway that should be for women from a female standpoint is listening to what's being said. When men began to open up their mouths and say what they feel and articulate themselves, because we're always talking about men being emotionally intelligent, right? But anytime a man can open up his mouth and articulate how he feels and his experience, you know, like Joe was doing earlier, I think that it's our responsibility to then listen, because we can't say we're looking for emotionally intelligent men, and then when a man shows his emotional intelligence, we reject it because it's not what we want to hear. Again, I'm tired of seeing the videos of women getting on platforms talking about how Black men hate women and they're tired of being independent and they're tired of this and they're tired of that and where the men are. When you really get tired, there's going to be some type of change. You're not tired. The only thing you're actually tired of is the fact that men are not responding to what you're putting out there. You think you're going to come out and you're going to make these ridiculous statements about Black men hate us and Black men are you know, they don't like Black women. We're no longer their preference, which is absolutely ridiculous, because by and large, Black men are still marrying Black women in larger numbers. So the stats don't even back up what you're saying. You're saying that because you're hoping you're going to get a response out of Black men. The problem is you're getting a response. It's just not the one that you want. When you really get tired as a woman, when you really get tired of being in the same situation over and over again, where you're unable to keep a relationship, you're unable to find a man, as you call it, then you'll start to realize that there has to be some change. And the change can't always be the other person, because you're the common denominator. It can't always be the other person. We can't keep pushing these narratives that Black men don't want to be held accountable. Black men hate us. We're not their preference. We don't have BBLs and lace fronts, so they don't want us. Like all of these ridiculous narratives that, you know, that we're pushing. And Black men have never opened up their mouths and said these things. Black men have never said this. And like I said last week, I keep waiting for where's your sources? Where's all the Black men that are coming out saying these things? I don't see it. So this is a narrative that you're pushing, because once again, if you can continue to project your problems onto Black men, then you have somebody to blame, right? You never have to assume the responsibility of why your life is what it is. I mean, so for me, I like these conversations. I like when men began to speak and talk about what they're seeing, because we hear a whole lot about women and what they're seeing and what they think Black men want and what's wrong with the Black man and how the Black men hate us and the Black man got something against us.
It's a lot. It's been like that for at least 2 decades, from what I remember. The Sally Jesse Raphaels, the Maury's, Oprah even. Like I look back and think, oh, that's interesting. I'm like, dang, she was really dogging. So, but it started way back there in the 90s. And it just grew and grew and grew. And now it's just this like hydra, like this monster, this with multiple heads. It started off as just a harmless little fly, ugly little fly. That's an irritant. Then it became this massive beast of a thing that it's something that came out of Pandora's box that I'm not even sure it can be put back in. But there's nothing I can personally do except in situations like this where a woman like yourself, a Black woman at that, who listens attentively, it's like, okay, I get it. And it's not to say that, of course, there's a lot of issues on the men's side as well that didn't get really a chance to touch on. I mean, look, NWA that's what started a lot of the mindset towards Black women and the way we treat them. We just look at them as, we view them as the Shaniquas, like a Jamie Foxx, or these caricatures of Black women in media, and we see it and we laugh at it. And so when we go out and we're projecting that and we're attracting those aspects out of a woman, so now we start to see Black women who are dressed as that, because women are a reflection of ourselves in a lot of ways. So I don't want to make it seem like, oh, it's just Black woman this, Black woman that. No, a lot of it is definitely our responsibility because of the stuff that we allow into the media, the stuff that we rap about, that we sing about. It's no longer like the old Michael Jackson songs, I Love You Back, ABC. It's, thought be gone. It's be word this. And we're projecting that. And then we get mad when women like Nicki Minaj come into the scene, who then say, well, if I'm going to be a hoe, then let me be the biggest hoe I can possibly be. Let me capitalize off this, because this is what they already made us. So we, in a way, created that monster in which Black women have become. Again, not to say that Black women take it to the other extreme. Oh, well, then we're not responsible at all for the way that we are. No, you're an adult. It's still your responsibility to fix it, but just like it's our responsibility to fix some things about ourselves as well. So the solution isn't necessarily to run to a different country or to run to a different type of woman. It's to work on ourselves first. But then there's only so much you can do on both sides. A Black woman can work on herself, deal with the trauma, the issues in her childhood, be right, be feminine, be soft, be nurturing, be all these good things that Chloe is, and still have issues dealing with men who have that gangster mentality or that hood mentality, who don't know how to enunciate themselves, who speak Ebonics still in the 21st century. So she now has to go outside of her race. And so it's like this, it's however way they engineered it, it was masterful and was evil at the same time. We are both affected, but we were the ones who took the ball and ran with it. They put crack in our streets, true, but we were responsible for selling it to our kids, to our daughters, to our sons. So we didn't have to touch it. Okay, there's something wrong here. We know it's drugs. That's all you need to know. We don't want it in our neighborhoods because it didn't happen to the Jewish neighborhoods, and I grew up with Jews. Mm-hmm. They knew what it was and said, oh, no, we're not going to do that. It didn't happen with the Arab community. It didn't happen with the Chaldean community. It happened with this community, that community. So they were able to see the writing on the wall and avoid it, except for maybe, I guess, the recent opioid addiction. But I think that kind of blindsided everybody. But in terms of the hard drugs and things like that, no, you wasn't going to plant drugs in somebody's community and then it just magically turned out that way. We were greedy. We wanted to make money. We wanted to do harm. It was something within ourselves morally that was corrupt that caused us to behave that way. So that's the issues on the man's side. That's so true. It's definitely a lot of blame and a lot of responsibility that needs to be taken on both sides, but we have to own up to it, work on it. And I can look back at my life personally and say, well, I never sold drugs to somebody that I do, that I love, that I cared about. I didn't take part in things like this. So, but I'm not going to bear the responsibility of something that collectively I know that we're responsible for, and the stuff we promote in our music and our movies, the drugs, the codeine, and all this other stuff. Because that's not something I don't create that kind of music. I don't promote it. I don't even listen to it. But it's still affecting other people. It's bigger than myself. And so in that situation, I was forced to leave. And, hey, listen, if a woman like Chloe comes around and I'm like, wow, blows my mind, that's it. That's all I need. It's not that complicated. But if it gets to the point where I have to go outside of my natural environment to look for something that should already be there, like Kwa said, then that's a problem. That's a problem, but we'll do it if we have to. It's like, it's just 2 decades of this. Can't take no more.
Yeah, no, I understand where you're at with it, Joe. And that's why I said the conversations are important. Yeah, so we got to continue to have the conversations around, and we have to continue to be transparent, and put it out there and talk about it. Yep, at the end of the day, we all can do better. Yep, the men can do better, the women can do better.
Right.
But I think probably what is going to happen is we're going to have to feel it. Yep, and what I mean by that is things are going to get to a point where it's almost going to become unbearable. Yep, it's going to start cracking at the seams, and I think we getting close to that now, right? Because I'm starting to see some peaks of certain men talking different, moving more in a positive direction. I'm starting to see some instances of young ladies saying, you know what, I'm tired of going about things this way. I want to change up what I'm doing, so to possibly yield some better results. I'm starting to see some of that now.
Do you
And
think
like I
it's
said, it
genuine?
took a. Say it again.
Do you think it's genuine? Because it's softcore era, and then the guys doing their whole, I'm gonna be a traditional man thing. Do you think these attempts are even genuine? And if so, is it even long lasting?
So let me say this. I think some of it is genuine. And what I mean by that is typically the ones who are genuine, they don't label it with the trendy label. So they don't call it soft life. They don't label it that way. So that's how I know that those are not genuine. See, at the end of the day, there is no soft life. It never was and never will be. It is masculine and feminine. Yep. And like I said, I'm noticing people separating in that with their verbiage, how they move, the type of content they project, the type of conversations they have, how they speak around these particular topics and so forth. So some folks are genuine and some folks are not. But that all comes back to essentially our discernment to be able to know the difference. Yeah, so all that soft life stuff that I see out here, y'all can throw that out the window. Because see, that's temporary. That's not gonna last. That's a facade. That's a chameleon mindset, if you will. And that go for the men as well. Yeah, you can get out here and talk that little traditional boss talk stuff all you want. But your actions and your outcome is gonna prove if you serious and you authentic and you genuine. So yeah, I don't play for all that, I don't play into all that talking. I know what that is. Yeah, like I said, we looking at results and outcome. Yeah, we looking at marriages. That's what we looking at. So, but I'm gonna leave it at that for right now, man. I know we got to get up out of here. We way past our time. I'm gonna take some closing statements from everybody on the panel that we're gonna get on out of here. So I'm gonna go to Chloe first. I'm gonna go to Joe. I'm gonna go to Vince, and then we're gonna get on out of here. So Chloe, you want to say anything in closing? We get out of here for the night.
Just that, I mean, it's gonna end. It's gonna be what it is. We heard from Joe tonight, basically giving his point of view, his perspective of his experience, and you can't discredit a person's experience. And I'm sure there are many others. Obviously, there's many others because it's a whole movement of Black men that are like, look, this is what we've had to do. We've had to look outside our race. Some have had to leave the West to search for their wives, to search for their partners. And if that's what it comes to, if that's your personal choice, that's what it is. At the end of the day, you have to do what you feel is right and what's best for you. Because clearly we have plenty of women who are doing the same. So, we on one side, we have the passport bros, but you have a bunch of Black women that are saying they're ready to divest and they're trying to figure out how to get the attention of a white man. So at the end of the day, if this is what you feel you need to do, then this is what you feel you need to do. But I think that it would behoove us to continue to have the conversations because we do have a whole generation of people that's coming after us. And maybe, just maybe, we can influence them and encourage them to do it differently, to do it better. That's all I got.
Okay, simple as that. Appreciate that. Let me go to my guy Joe. You want to say something before we get out of here, Joe?
Yeah, I used to be like a big proponent of conversations and talking it out. And then just being an entrepreneur and investor myself, I realized that there's no amount of books I could read. There's no amount of talking I could do. There is only so much speaking or words that can come out of my mouth, but it won't change. It doesn't change anything. Like I cannot say anything, take an action and get a specific result. So that's what I not to say conversations aren't valuable. They are meaningful to a certain degree. But action then has to follow that. So someone says, they're talking about things and what doesn't follow is a specific actionable step to arrive to a specific conclusion to solve that problem or come up with a solution, then to me, that's all it is talk. But the conversation is a good start to have. I think that we've been talking for too long. I think it's way too long. But there's not the hard work of actually putting that talk into action. Like I said, as an entrepreneur, for me, money talks. That's why that's my favorite movie to this day. It literally is like that. Money does talk. People who talk about money, I just brush them off to the side. They don't, hey, you're talking, right? Show me the numbers. Okay, you're doing something. Now let's do something. I can work with that. And people treat me the same way. So the same way I treat money and business, the same way I would treat any other area of my life, whether it's relationships, whether it's about talking to God or having a relationship with God. There's a lot of Christians who talk too. They talk. No, I don't care what you have to say. I'm looking at you. Okay. Oh, okay. You do got more. Okay. Wow. You resisted that temptation. You're not telling me that you're going to do something that you're not doing yourself. You're not saying, oh, I'm going to church and you show up to the strip club the next day. I'm looking at your actions. That's all I need to know, because that speaks to me louder than anything you can possibly say to me. So that applies to religion, spirituality, it applies to money and business. It absolutely applies to relationships as well. I just don't see a lot of that in the relationship field when it comes to the Black space. It's just a lot of talking. You have a lot of these podcasts that's popping up. They're talking. Anton Daniels. You have all these different people. That Kevin Samuels, that didn't do anything. We thought that, oh yeah, that'll do. No, he died and then he got crapped on. He tried. Nope, didn't work. And so talking doesn't solve anything. It makes people money. It's a business. It's cool, but it has to follow with action. Just has to. And that's the hardest part. Because we can all do it. We can go a mile a minute. Some of us, we all know the Dr. Umar Johnsons, with the Cornell West. They know how to talk circles around anybody because of their voluptuous vocabulary. And they can speak like this and pontificate and all of that. Okay, cool. Blah, blah, blah. Shut the F up. What are you going to do for the Black community other than fattening your pockets with money because you know how to razzle and dazzle the black crowd about relationships and what Black men should do? And you know what? It doesn't mean anything to me. It's entertainment. So until it becomes something that's actionable, that's solidified in reality, and gets a tangible result, it's just entertainment. It's just loose lips. It's just talking out people's ass. So that's my last word.
No, I feel that, man. I appreciate that, man. You laid that out. Appreciate it. Let me, Vince. You still on, Vince?
Yes, sir.
You want to say something in closing, man?
Yeah, I think we still have to have the conversations, because I think that in the wee hours of, I've had people who listened to some of my stuff, and I didn't think they were paying attention, but I ran into them at the market. They were like, "Hey, man, that post you made, I didn't like it but as I thought about it and as I looked more deeper into it, yeah, you was kind of right, and yeah, it made me think about some things." So I still think that we have to, and men have to start speaking. I appreciate what Joe said. He's saying his experiences, and I think men have to. I think for so long, men have just, especially the men who are at a certain level. I think it's more of the bottom feeder guys who are saying a lot of stuff, and they're not being accepted because they don't have the results. I think the men that have the results, that have the marriages, that are good, they need to speak. But I don't know if they will, because they don't really have to. Because they have what they have. They can get what they want. They can go to Brazil. They can get what they want. So they don't really have to say anything. So I think that we still have to have the conversations, and we got to start being honest. I think honesty is the best thing. I think it's too many lies being spread, untruths. And I'm just gonna leave it with that. But any ladies that are listening to this, the Black man is not your enemy. The Black man was in the field with you. The Black man was getting discriminated with you. The Black man was getting lynched with you. So we are not your enemy. We love Black women.
facts. That's facts. No, I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, I'm just gonna say this real quick, and then we're gonna get out of here. And I'm just gonna repeat myself from earlier because I have to drive this point home because I need everybody who's going to watch this video or see this video to understand this. Black men do not hate black women. We do not. We never have. So we got to let that narrative go. We got to stop using that as an excuse. At the end of the day, we all got work to do. Yeah, we all got work to do. Yeah, we know some of our shortcomings. We know some of our areas where we have opportunity to improve. Yep, so you got work to do. You cannot use the excuse of some black man hating some black woman or some black woman hating some black man. That's an excuse. It's cap, and we need to let that mess go. Yeah, we really need to let it go.
Stop the cap.
Shout out to Joe for joining us tonight. Appreciate you with all your perspective and your insight, man. You great value add to the conversation. Shout out to my guy Vince. Shout out to Chloe holding me down as always. Shout out to everybody down in the comments, man. Y'all was going ham in the comments tonight, and I appreciate all the comments. Shout out to Jocelyn Dennis in the building. Shout out to Denise Green in the building. J.U. Gruffin in the building. Donovan, Kenyatta, Eva Wright in the building. I always appreciate you guys supporting us on the platform, dropping your comments. Let's see, because, you know, at the end of the day, in order to have a great conversation or a productive conversation, you got to have all the perspectives from all the different age ranges, backgrounds, gender, experience levels, you name it. And you guys always hold us down. But, man, once again, this is Kandid Konvos. We do this show every Wednesday night, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. We go live on Facebook and YouTube, so definitely like, share, and subscribe. Let's say for everybody who watched this tonight, do me a favor and hit that like button. Hit that like button for us. That helps us out. But once again, man, thank you for everybody who came out tonight, and we will catch you guys next Wednesday.